Welcome to the Mind of Reese podcast. I'm your host, Reese Hilburn, tattoo artist, tattoo shop owner, and spiritual tattoo business coach. Basically, your all-around tattoopreneur. Here to bring you all things tattoo business, marketing, mindset, manifestation, and spirituality. This podcast is meant to help you expand your mind and up-level your tattoo business. I am so excited that you are here. Guys, welcome to another episode of the Mind of Reese. I am so excited that you are here. There's so much going on right now. I'm in the middle of pre-enrollment, so early bird enrollment for InkSpired Academy. It's my 8-week signature program on how to help tattooers build wildly successful businesses on Instagram. And so, it's basically creating the foundation on how to really run a beautifully growing and sustainable business so that you are not totally always doing all the ins and outs. So it's like creating how to create the content, how to get the mindset, clarity on what you're doing, and also just how to automate things, get your time back so you can have more freedom to do what it is that you want to do. So that is exciting. If you want to get into that, there's a link down below in the show notes. I also have, I believe, 2 spots left for VIP one-on-ones, a more hands-on program, a more hands-on experience with me, and really just creating a sustainable business up and up and up. So really excited about those 2 things. But today, what I would love to get into is a few things that I've actually been talking to a lot about with my artists. So the other day, I had a team meeting with my artists, and there is this sense of what I've noticed in anything, in any industry, in people in general. We're always rushing. We're always rushing to get to the next thing. Rush through this, rush through that. And, I had explained very clearly that, although we have financial goals, and when you hit those goals, the incentive is you hit your daily goal, you get to leave early. It's not necessary that you need to stay all day. We don't do walk-ins. We're a appointment only shop. So it's there's no need for you to stay longer. I am definitely of the mindset of part-time work, full-time pay, because I believe that everything is a direct correlation. I'm not sure if that's the word, correlation or connection, I suppose. Everything in your life connects you to the other things in your life. So everything relates around it. So if you're always at work, you're always feeling like you're working, you're never feeling like you're living, that's not how I encourage my team to have a human experience, because that's not how I do it. Because I truly believe that when I'm in my passion, I'm not necessarily working. Yes, there are those moments when I'm feeling like it's not that I'm not doing things or not doing things I don't want to do. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm definitely talking about understanding my why, so much so that the things that I don't necessarily are super stoked on doing, but I know that they are integral to my business, I will do. Sometimes I'll stay later just to make sure that my artists are feeling supported or whatever they need from me. Sometimes I'll show up on my day off because I know that, hey, one of my artists needs help with something. I'm going to go do that for a second. Not every time I do these things it means that I love doing it and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I'm always in my business. But it definitely just means that I took on a role, and I take very, very much pride in that role and in my integrity of that role as a leader, as a shop owner, and as the type of shop owner that I've always wanted, which was the one that was supportive, which was there. I know a lot, I've worked at a lot of shops where I never saw the shop owner. It was he only showed up to pick up the drops. And I was like, no, that's not the kind of shop owner I want to be. But I also want the boundary and the respect that I get to work whenever I do work. I get to come in when I come in. I get to leave when I leave. And that's not necessarily, I hold them to a different standard because they work for me. And so with that in mind, I did say to them, I was like, yeah, if you finish, you hit your daily mark in order for us to hit our financial goal, in order for us to all have December off, it would be you could definitely leave early. And from my perspective, when I think of these kinds of things, I'm not thinking of it as you know, that everybody's going to be leaving at like 2 o'clock every day, you know? And so when things happen and I'm just like, hey guys, so I just noticed that there was like a little bit of a shift in what everybody's like mindset. I've noticed. I was like, oh, they're like, oh, I hit my quota, I get to go home. I hit my quota, I get to go home. And what I started to notice was the rushing. There was a lot of rushing going around. It was like, I want to rush to get my tattoo done. I want to rush to get to work. I want to rush to get home so I can rush to go drinking, so I can rush to go to sleep, so I can rush to wake up and rush and rush and rush and rush. And I was just noticing this, and I was like, okay, I see something happening as a shop owner, as a leader. I'm seeing this happening. I'm seeing what I said being taken, like they're doing what I said. If you hit your mark, you get to go home. I wasn't expecting what I was seeing. And so obviously as a shop owner, it is my right and entitlement to change the policy. If I don't see that it's working in the way that I had saw fit. I wasn't expecting it to be a rush. Like, oh my gosh, she's letting us go home early. We don't have to stay till 6, 7 at night. Then I'm just going to rush through things and get it done and leave. And so that was, you know, that's the learning experience. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. And that for me right there, I was like, oh, okay. Not mad. Don't take it personal. I'm just going to change the policy and talk about what it is we're not doing. And we're not going to rush through anything. And so I find this so interesting because I'm like, what are you rushing to do? You're rushing to die? Are we rushing to die? Because if we're going to rush through our work, then maybe this isn't for you. And so I get really passionate, but I also ask a lot of questions during my meetings, and I also let them know like what it looks like. You know, I am definitely not of the mindset anymore where I have to be turning and burning tattoos in order to feel worthy, in order to make a lot of money. It's not the case. And I believe that I don't, like, if I'm not going to run my own tattoo business that way, I'm not going to force my artists to do the same thing. I want them to live their life. I want them to be in their passion and be super stoked and show up as their highest creative selves every time they do a tattoo. And so that means that I do care about their mental health. I do care about their well-being, that they feel supportive, and that their creativity is constantly evolving. However, there comes the polarity of like, yes, you can leave whenever you want. However, are you rushing through your tattoo to get home so you can rush to do whatever it is you're doing? And so what this meant for me was that it made me think a lot about how I tattoo. It made me think a lot about what they're doing. And I was very much in the mindset like, hey guys, like, we're not going to be rushing through anything. If you are rushing through a tattoo just so you can go home and do whatever it is you do at home, none of my business. Don't really care what you do at home. But if you're going to be in this shop and you're going to do, you know, rush through things, I want you to really, really, really ask yourself if tattooing is what you want to do. If tattooing is your passion. Is it just something that you got really lucky with and it is a very lucrative business? And, you know, are you just doing it just because, you know, you make good money and you're cool you're chill, you're complacent in the space that you're in right now. You're not looking to grow. You're not looking to shift or evolve. Let me know, because then you don't belong in my shop. There are other shops that'll do that, but not my shop. And this is where I hold the boundary of this, because I don't believe in rushing. I just don't believe in rushing through anything. You have plenty of time off, especially in the way that I work and the way that I run my shop. And it's one of those things where I'm like, you know, you guys slow down. So ask yourself, if you're a tattooer or a creative, where are you rushing in your business to just get it done? Because when we rush through things, that energy is felt, and that is what you're producing at the end result. So if you're rushing to get content done, if you're rushing to get a design done, if you're rushing to get a tattoo done, if you're rushing to get to work and all this stuff, and you don't settle yourself to ground for a moment, that energy is completely felt in every single facet, whatever you touch and whomever you are in contact with in that day. And this to me is like huge. And it is definitely a boundary for me. So if I see my artist doing this, we're going to have a chat. Because of the fact that I hold so much integrity with the work, that the end result, the experience, the way that I want to show up, the way I want my tattoos to look at the end, the way I want them to feel, it comes from me. That energy comes from me. So I'm not saying that they're not very passionate, and I'm not saying that any of you out there are not passionate. Sometimes we just get lost in the sauce. Sometimes we get done in the routine, and we're like, go to work, show up, tattoo, go to work, show up, tattoo, go to work, design, tattoo, emails, da 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 da. And so I get it. Like, I've hit some moments in my career where I was like, oh shit, I don't even remember the last few tattoos I did, just because I'm just turning and burning, And so I want you to just make sure that you're asking yourself, and if you're a shop owner, ask your artist, like, what's the rush? Why are we rushing? What are we trying to do in this industry? What is your why? That I come to a lot with my artists, is asking your whys. Because we got to remind ourselves what it is what's the thing that drives us? What's the thing that motivates us? If it's the money, that is so fleeting and external and very superficial that, yes, it could drive you for a second, but it'll never make you happy, and it'll never be enough. So what is actually driving you in the industry? Why did you get into it? Because there was a moment in time when you had the passion and you would have done it for free, right? At the beginning of most of our apprenticeships, when we practiced on people before fake skins turned out to be so good now these days, when we practiced on people, we did it for free or for very cheap or for tip only. And so where can we hold that level of passion from that point? Also by understanding our worth, because yes, our tattoos are worth our time, and energy and tattoos are worth it. They are worth good money. And how do we make those marinate together? That is a huge thing that I am constantly coming back to almost on a daily basis, is just remembering my why. And since I have such conviction in my why, my particular why is that I am a healer. As a tattoo artist and a creative, I am a healer. And I am here to help heal the people meant for me in my space that resonate mostly with me and my vibration, my energy. And those people that are magnetic to me, my soulmate clients is what I like to call them, they will come and we can exchange massive energy in the form of artwork, energetics, vibration, tattooing, all the things that go involved in this. And at the end of the day, they get to keep something until this human experience no longer belongs to them. That's my why in the tattooing. Another big why for me, another really huge why, is that now that I'm an educator, a mentor, a coach for tattoo artists, I want to make sure that whatever I'm saying out of my mouth is exactly the thing that I am doing. So I'm walking the walk and I'm talking the talk. I never would want to be out of integrity with the thing that I'm saying. I'm giving advice to, encouraging to people, artists, creatives, if I am not in the doing of that at all times. So that is another one of my whys. And it's actually, since I'm so intentional, I'm huge on intention. I think that this is the biggest reason why we rush, is because we forget that we are intentional. We need to be intentional with the things that we're doing because we get better faster. That is the motivator for me. I'm like, wow, I can actually get really, really good at my tattoo techniques if I am just intentional, if I slow down, if I just look at myself and I'm like, what body position do I need to get into in order to make this line so crispy that it doesn't even look like there's any type of hiccup in there? Like, I am very intentional with even just every time I switch a tone, a color. This is just the way that I work because I believe and I'm very passionate about this industry. very passionate about this industry. Before I was even a tattoo artist, I was already heavily tattooed as an accountant. And I just knew I was going to be heavily tattooed one day. There's a lot of artists out there that are not heavily tattooed. It's not, it used to be like that where you had to be like heavily tattooed to really be like quote unquote an artist or whatever. Nowadays it's not like that. But I always knew that I was going to be heavily tattooed because it wasn't about being a tattoo artist. I was already heavily tattooed prior to that. I didn't even know what I could draw, and I was already heavily tattooed. It was the culture. It was the feeling of feeling alive. I know what tattoos feel for me. I know how they make me feel. So I could only imagine how it makes someone else feel when I get to produce the artwork and the energy along with it. That is where my conviction lies. And so when I go out, when I understand my why, I can understand why it's so important to be intentional with the things that I'm doing every single day. And this is why it's so important to connect with your intuition, because when you cultivate that relationship, when you stop living in your brain and you start living from the chin down, living in your body, really dropping in and giving yourself a moment to feel whatever's going on in your body. Because the moment you do that, you literally get out of your head. And when you feel into your body, it's literally like doing a body scan through your like spiritual eye. You're just doing a body scan. What's feeling what? I'm feeling anxiety? Where is that feeling? It's a little in my stomach. I'm feeling this little curly feeling. Just describing it out to yourself or just feeling it and allowing it to flow. That's how you can really start to drop into your body. And when you start dropping into your body, you start getting closer and closer to listening to the intuitive part of you, your spiritual body, your intuitive aspects that will allow you to take the inspired action to do the things that you know are going to get you where you want to go. Instead of, what am I going to do? I'm going to tattoo every single day, but I'm going to rush through every single tattoo and then I'll get better. For a lot of us, we know that that's not the case because we are not listening. We're not listening to what we need to be doing in each tattoo. We're not being intentional. We're not listening to our intuition. And so what we're doing, we think the more that we do, the better we will get, when in all actuality, it's not like that at all. The more money you get doesn't mean the happier you'll be. There's more sometimes just means more. That is why it's so important for me, especially in this industry and the way that I coach and teach and mentor, is that yes, money can be a definite driver and be exciting and wonderful. And yes, absolutely, money is awesome. It helps me create the opportunities in my life that, it helps me create opportunities for me. It also helps me create opportunities for everyone else that gets to be in my space. I spent a lot of money and invested money to open up a shop, and I have 3 artists. I spent a lot of money and invested in myself to have 3 assistants, and I have 3 assistants, and I'm continuing to grow. And I will always be a magnet to money because of the woman that I am being, because I am intentional with everything that I am doing. That's just the way it goes. You become a magnet when you vibrate on a level that is on the same frequency of all the things that you want. And all the things that you want are the things that make you feel good. And when we feel good, we're high vibing. So high vibration is where we want to be. However, when we're chasing after it, rushing through it, trying to get to the next thing, trying just to get to the outcome of the thing and not enjoying the journey and the process of it, that is where that rushing energy, that chasing energy, that scarcity energy, it's that scarcity because the reason why we're rushing is because we don't want to be in the place that we are in. We're rushing because we're trying to get somewhere else, which means we're not in the moment. We're not being grateful for what we've got going on right now because we're so trying to be in the future. And of course, that energy that we're producing in that rushing energy is not high vibrational energy. It's hard work energy. It's daunting energy. It's boring energy. It's the kind of energy that feels scarcity and wanting and always needing more. And it's sticky. And it's kind of just makes you feel drained at the end of the day. Yesterday, I worked a 14, 15-hour day yesterday. And the moments when I knew intuitively I needed to drop in and take a moment, even if it was for 5 minutes, it renewed my energy like that. I got back into intention. I knew that by being intentional with my day was going to allow me to really be grateful in every moment that I had, whether it was talking to my artist about intentionality, whether it was with my client and creating a tattoo and just being supportive and holding space for her as she had to flow through the pain and also receive a dope ass tattoo and hear what's going on in her life. With my coaching clients, my VIPs, my InkSpired Academy members, with having to, coach them, do the things with them. I'm intentional in every single moment. I'm not just trying to rush through and get it over with, because all I'm rushing toward is death. All the outcomes of my life it's not the outcome. It's the experience within it. You know what I mean? It's like the journey inside of the thing that gets us to the thing we want. And that's what makes happiness and joy so juicy. Because the experience that we received, whether it was hard or it was tough or it was just like, or angry and or felt draining, and then we're like, okay, we're constantly ebbing and flowing. And so ask yourself, if you're ever in this moment, if you're listening to this right now, are you rushing? And why? What are you rushing toward? Every little thing, even the things that we don't want to do, even for me, the things that I don't want to do, but I have such a reframe. I have so many resources and reframes on this, like, quote unquote, don't want to do. Because I believe so much, even in the things that I know I'm like, I don't want to go there right now. And if there is no way that I can get out of it, like if I'm like, no, I gotta do this, like, if I can't move it in another place, if I can't put it on another part of my schedule, especially if like I'm really desperately needing to be in the feminine, I need to be in the being, I need to be integrated with myself and really just move in my body and just allow myself to just take whatever happened through the week and let it process through me, and then release anything that no longer serves me and keep all the wisdom that do and that will help me further along in my businesses and my life. Sometimes I need that. If I can't move those things around, that's okay. I gave myself a 5-minuter is what I like to call it. I got myself a little 5-minuter fem energy. fem energy recoup. It's like, that's my 5-minuter. I'm like, hey, can I take a 5-minuter? Everybody knows at my shop what a 5-minuter is to me. They just don't bother me. I go outside, I sit cross-legged, and I just like get connected to the planet. I get connected to the earth. If you really want to know, I literally see in my mind's eye a white beam coming from above my head, and in my crown chakra, really, and seeing that white beam shoot through me all the way down through my root chakra into the earth, into the planet, and allowing that renewed energy from the planet to heal me and my energy when I definitely need a little burst, because I'm not going to drink caffeine to give me anxiety. I no longer drink caffeine. On a rare occasion I do, but no more coffee. I drink mud water. And so it's just like, it's mushroom coffee, really. But it's like, because I don't want to give myself that. I don't need the shot of adrenaline. I don't need body. Like, my body feels good. It's just energetically, I need a little renew. And that's how I renew that energy. That's like giving me a shot of espresso. It's really wonderful, especially when you really can drop in pretty quick. And I've practiced this enough to do that. So, and I still want to get quicker at it. So it's just really understanding that, like, if I can't move anything, take a 5-minuter. And then when I got to do something, I just know that the reframe that I have for all the things that I think that I don't want to do, I'm like, no, but I do want to do this. Why do I want to do this? Because my mission is so important on this planet. I know my fucking purpose. And I get to do it in my passion, which is fucking awesome. I get to do it in art. in creativity. I tattoo, I mentor, I coach, I run a shop. These are the things that I do for like exchange of energetic, like in the exchange of money, that type of energy. But I get the same type of energy when I work with my plants, when I get to do like little DIYs in my house, when I walk my dog outside, when I'm in nature, when I'm meditating. So like I have these balances and checks and balances that I need to be doing. And sometimes on some days I'm going to be heavier in my masculine. Sometimes on some days it's going to be heavier in my feminine. And that's going to be okay. And there's no shame in either one. It's always just coming back to intuition. And the only way we really cultivate that is by dropping into our body. And finding our why actually comes from intuition. Our purpose comes from in here. We are all knowing. We know everything we're meant to do inside of our bodies. We have such this inner wisdom inside of us that we just have blocked it because we live through our mind. We believe that we are our mind. But when we can release that, when we know we're not our thoughts, we're not our feelings, we are the observer of it all, we can really drop in. We can get into getting to know your intuition and cultivating that relationship on another podcast episode. But with this, and all I really want to encourage you, and to encourage you to talk to your team about if you are, if you own a tattoo shop or for the future or for whatever, is to constantly come back to your whys. It's to constantly come back to why you are on this planet. You were given the desire to be a creative. That is not for nothing. Okay? I don't believe that we just have rando desires in our body just to not fulfill them. So you were given the desire to be a tattoo artist, a creative, for a reason. Okay, so within that, what is it that you are meant to do? Why are you here? Who are you helping? These are the questions you must ask yourself until your conviction is so fucking strong you won't even need to ask because you just know innately. And then you embody that why. And then everything you do becomes intentional after that. And you will not have to rush through life because you will enjoy every moment that you have right here, right now. Just like I'm enjoying this right here with you, everybody listening. So I love you guys. No rushing. No need to rush. Because when we rush, we don't get better. And when we rush, we don't enjoy the life that we're living, this human experience that we are meant to live. Because in hindsight, there's going to be a day in hindsight, you will look back and you will be where you wanted to be. And you will look back and you're like, man, I needed that to grow in order to become the artist, the creative, the mentor, the coach, the shop owner, whatever it is that I needed to be today, that I am today. It's always in hindsight. We look back and we're like, wow, I fucking needed that. Wow, that was meant for me. Wow, it turned out so much better than I expected. Wow, it definitely didn't go the way I thought it was going to go, but man, it's awesome. These are the things we're always seeing in hindsight. But the thing is, you never are going to know the outcome because that's the future. So you never know what's going to happen. You are only going to guess. But hey, instead of rushing to try and get there, let's be intentional with the things that we do so we know that what we are doing is moving us in the direction that we want to go faster by slowing down. Okay? I love you guys so much. I hope that was helpful. I kind of needed that. I needed you. I appreciate your energy as you watch this. Let me know if you love this episode. Put it on Facebook. Put it on Instagram. Stories. Let me know. I love when you guys pop in. Send me DMs. Let me know that you love the podcast. It just really helps. And also, if you're on Apple, please go ahead and star it, rate it, and write a little review. I would love, love, love that. Thank you so much, guys. And you guys have a beautiful day. And until next time on The Mind of Reese.